Welcome to Larry King Live. Tonight we bring to you a man known for his journalism, in essays, reviews, columns in newspapers, magazines and in his books. He's one of the world's most influential writers of our time. Having sold more than 55 million copies of one of his most famous works, 1984, we welcome George Orwell to the show. Welcome, George.
Thank you. I am pleased to be here.
George, before we get into the story, I have to mention how different you look than the last time I saw you.
Yes, getting older has taken a bit of a toll on me.
I'll say. Anyway, let's get back to the essence of our conversation today. You're sharing with us your classic novel, 1984. Now, George, we've all heard about the dystopian nature of this story. Can you elaborate on exactly what that means for readers?
Absolutely. A dystopian society is one in which life is incredibly harsh. Deprivation, sadness and oppression are common attributes. No Twitter, no Facebook, no movies, nothing but working, eating and sleeping. My novel 1984 shows these conditions through the eyes of the main character, Winston Smith.
Ouch. That sounds terrifying if I do say so myself. So what is it about Winston that makes this story so interesting to readers?
Well, Winston is one of those characters that we commonly define as the underdog. A physically frail 39-year-old. He is living in futuristic London, in the nation of Oceania. He is a member of the ruling party. His physical environment is very confusing. Although the skies are a dazzling blue outside, he sees everything as colorless. It is as if there is a black cloud hanging everywhere in his life, both physically and mentally. What makes his condition most challenging is that he is stuck in life with nowhere to go.
And what do you mean by stuck? What exactly is happening in this new world?
That was precisely what I was getting at before you interrupted me, Larry. Doc, as I was saying, Winston is trapped by the party who oversees his every move, even in his own home. Through telescreens, the party's authority figure, Big Brother as they call him, is shown, which reminds them that the party, is always watching and checking to make sure everyone follows the governing rules and principles.
And what are those rules and principles?
In the novel, the party is currently trying to enforce a new language called Newspeak, which attempts to remove any words relating to political upheaval. You see, there is absolutely no expression of individuality in this world. No sex, no free thought, nothing that could be remotely rebellious in nature. In fact, even thoughts are governed by the party. Should someone commit a thought crime and Big Brother finds out, they can expect the worst. What if we has to live a life in which even our thoughts could be judged?
It seems as though he really has nothing to live for.
That would be mostly correct. But Winston has something up his sleeve. Although it could cost him greatly, he has smuggled in a diary in which he writes up his most criminal thoughts. As the story continues and as Winston continues to document his life and dreams of change, he is introduced to a woman who completely changes his life.
Ah, a woman. Now the story is getting exciting.
Yes, Winston receives a note that says, "I love you." This is when we introduce Julia, a dark-haired girl with which Winston begins to spend a lot of his time with on the outskirts of town. Their affair continues for quite some time, and although Winston believes the worst, that he will be caught at some point and punished for his crimes, he continues his relationship.
But as you stated, this isn't allowed in his society, so you have to tell our audience because they are dying to know. Does he get to continue his love affair with Julia?
This is tricky to answer right at the bat because there are parts of the story that I haven't mentioned so far.
Well, do tell. The gossip from this story is getting really juicy.
First of all, we must understand both Julia and Winston in their individual life plans. As the relationship continues, Winston's hatred for the party grows and his emotional resistance to the party deepens. He has dreams of completely overthrowing the party and for a revolution. Julia, however, is a more optimistic woman. Although she is rebellious to the party, her resistance is for her personal benefit. She believes in living for the moment. I wonder who the reader will identify with the most.
I see. It says here on my cue card that there is a third character involved in this story, O'Brien. What does he bring to the couple's situation?
O'Brien is seen for the first time following an invitation he sends to Winston. For much of the story, he goes unseen except for Winston's diary excerpts. Winston believes that O'Brien works for the Brotherhood, an opposition group aimed at overthrowing the party. Winston and Julia accept the invitation and they meet O'Brien for the first time. It is here that O'Brien confirms his own hatred for the party and his own desire for change. At this point he hands Winston a book, the Manifesto of the Brotherhood. This is where things get really dramatic.
I'm already on the edge of my seat here. Can I ask what happens next?
I'd love to share more with you, but I can't give away all of the secrets or no one would want to read the book. Can I just say capture, dissolution of love and complete torture are only to come in the remainder of the novel.
It sounds like the thought police are onto them.
I can say no more.
One more word? Just one more?
Rats.
Rats?
Yes. Rats.
I'm feeling scared. Can I hug you?
Not now.
Okay then, moving on. Who do you think should be reading this book?
Anyone who tests the beliefs of censorship, who believes in love and change are worth fighting for, and for anyone who simply wants to put themselves in the shoes of an individual who mentally and physically goes to the ends of the earth to try and protect their beliefs. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face. Forever, this is that kind of novel.
Wow. That leaves a lasting impression. I hear that this book has been quite a scandal since its debut.
Yes, censorship has always been a battle for my books, this one in particular. This book is, however, most interesting to you, the young adult reader. This is a time in your life that you start making decisions for yourself. You have to decide what you believe in and stand for and how far you are willing to go for your beliefs, for love and for yourself. Although Winston may seem like an older man which you have nothing in common with, you would be quite surprised. Winston is in many ways just coming of age himself. He is just now realizing the things he has been blinded to forever. It is almost like these years are his formative teenage years. He is learning to think for himself for the first time. You may identify with his situation in your own life with a personal experience, and you will have to ask yourself, what would you do if you were in his position? Would you be able to risk your own life and sanity for your convictions? This is why it is so fitting that this book is commonly challenged. This is a book about censorship. They are literally trying to censor a book about censorship. It is Big Brother jumping off the pages into reality. Perhaps we are all closer to this totalitarian type of society than we want to admit to ourselves. That is why young adults are so important. They have the potential to bring opportunity for change that Winston could not.
Sounds fascinating, George. After 62 years in publication, this remains an essential piece of reading for all walks of life. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Before we go, I'd like to leave you with this thought. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And Big Brother will always be watching you.